talking about an amazing, blazing topic. Okay. And before we get into that, let me just go ahead. So, first of all, we're talking about where your book should be in five other places that your book should be other than Amazon. Okay. As self published authors, we always assume that Amazon is the be all for self publishers. Okay. And I'm going to share with you five places to take your book, and I'm going to explain them in detail, honey. So get your tea, get your coffee. If you're at work, get your headphones in order for you to be able to listen to this. For those of you that's new here, my name is Lynette Kincaid, the author and also writing coach. And today on my LinkedIn page, I actually shared five places that your book should be other than Amazon. And I wanted to be able to share that with you guys. Can I do that? Are y'all okay with that? Because I wanted to what I am seeing, and we'll talk about this on another episode. I guess you can call this. This is my own TV show. I forget that sometimes. Like this is my own little broadcast. Okay, so some days I forget that I'm able to share all of this information. Now, one of the things that I'm going to share on another episode is the information about um, pre orders and pre sales, because a lot of times, as we're doing our book launch, we forget this step. We forget that we can literally have an actual um, we can actually have actual book launches, and we can also have pre-launches as well, and pre-sales and things of that nature. Okay. So I just want to share that with you guys. But can we get into five places that your book should be other than just Amazon, taking it to Amazon, putting it on Amazon, and that's it? If I can just be honest with you, a lot of people get very, very discouraged. A lot of self published authors get very discouraged um, when it comes to self publishing your book there. Good morning. Thank you so much for chiming in. Do me a favor and leave comments, and also share and subscribe if you haven't already. But thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to put on your headphones if you're at work. Sometimes I know it gets a little bit loud. But one of the things that I want to share is a lot of self-published authors get very, very discouraged when they publish on Amazon, because they hear all the hype about Amazon. Okay, publish on Amazon, publish your book on Amazon, self-publish on Amazon, and then they get their book over to Amazon, and you have to do all of the promoting in order for people to for you to get sales on Amazon. And that's the part that people do not get. Thank you guys so much for chiming in. I appreciate you. But that's the part that people don't get. People don't understand that you still have to promote your own book regardless of the platform that you put it on. I just won't say Amazon, but I know that that's the most popular. So the reason why I wanted to share with you why you should be coming up with a different strategy is because I want you guys to win in this book publishing industry. Okay. So can we talk about where you should take your book first? Okay. I know that you guys have seen this. So I'm going to, you have seen this in your neighborhood, but you haven't really thought about this for you, right? So the one thing that I would share with you is, um, why did I just lose my notes? Like seriously, I had it ready to go. Okay, there it is. Okay, so the first thing is, I know that you guys have seen these little houses. They're called little free libraries. And normally what happens with those is you actually can put a book in, you can actually take a book out. Okay. On my LinkedIn page, and I keep bringing up my LinkedIn page because this is something I also need to share with you guys. Temporarily, I have removed myself from Facebook. Temporarily, I have removed myself from Instagram. So, what you'll see on in regarding to the writing coach and myself will be my LinkedIn pages, this page that we're on right now, which is my YouTube channel, and also on Twitter. Okay, don't ask me why I'm still on Twitter. Okay, like I figure one day I'll need it, but I don't know what I'll need it for right now. So anyway, going back to what I was saying, the little free libraries, they are in your area. If you Google little free libraries, you'll come up with a link and you put in your zip code, you put in your city and state, and it'll actually tell you the closest one near you. Guys, put your books in those, okay? I can't even stress enough how so many people will get access to those books, because normally what people do, they get books out of there and they keep sharing it with their friends and they keep sharing it with their family members. And so take the opportunity to put your books in there, okay? If you have nowhere else to take your book, take your book there. Now, a lot of times as a self published author, I also bring this up as well. A lot of people feel that I'm a self published author, no one knows me, I have to give my books away for free. You shouldn't actually give your books away for free unless it is something pertaining to some sort of opportunity. For example, if you're attempting to get on your local news channel, of course, if they're saying to you, hey, send me a book, send them a book. Like literally, someone in like local media, they're not going to pay for your book if they don't know you. Okay. So if they said, hey, send me a book so I can hear more about what you got going on, even if it's a podcast, and let's say a podcast that has over 100,000 followers, and you're actually getting a little bit of exposure in some kind of shape, form, or fashion. Do your research before you do that. Things like that, I would probably say, yeah, go ahead and send a book. Okay. Um, so that's the first thing. Little free libraries in your area. Google it, it's there. I promise it'll bless your life. The other thing is, a lot of people forget to go to your local schools. Okay. If you have a children's book, it is no reason that you shouldn't be at your local school. Asking your local school that's in your area, hey, do you mind if we can schedule a date that I can come in and read the book to, your students? Okay. Kids love people that they don't know that's reading to them. They just absolutely love it. Okay. Preschool, on up until about fifth grade, sixth grade and up, depending on the book, you probably, you have to worry about attention spans, them breaking pencils and throwing pencils and things of that nature. But it's still great to put your name in that school's pocket in order for them to know that you're a children's author and you're available for their students. Okay. Most principals love that as well. Here's another thing that you guys are missing out on. Let's say, for example, you don't have a children's book. However, you have a book and you're an author. Well, consider going, checking into what is called the career day. Career day is basically where you come in and you talk about what you do for a living, right? And so be ready for what the kids say, because kids are so hilarious. Okay. So consider going to, if you don't have a children's book, consider going to the school for their career day. Again, teachers and principals love this. Okay. You do in most cases have to do a background check, but we're authors, so we don't mind doing that kind of stuff. We don't mind going the extra mile. We don't mind going the extra step. Thank you guys again for chiming in. I appreciate you guys. For those of you that's just walking into this conversation, we're talking about 5 places to take your self-published book. Okay. 5 places to take your self-published book. You don't have to leave your book just marinating on Amazon anymore and all the other book platforms. So I'm sharing with you how you take your books off that platform, not taking them off, like, not meaning literal, but take your books and take them other places. Okay. So your local schools, okay, local schools and colleges, okay. Don't forget to put your foot in the door when it comes to your local schools and your colleges. Number 3, And I want to talk about this really, really heavy. Number three, I want to talk about really heavy going to book fairs. What we tend to do as authors, what you guys tend to do as authors, you tend to go to vending events, like regular events. It can be a fashion show, it could be, just different events, but you're not considering two things. One, is it an event that aligns with your book? That's number one. Number two, is it a place where people are going to love books? Okay, you don't want to pay $300, $500, and people are just walking by you like they don't care, right? You don't want that. You want to go where someone is going to stop, ask you about your book, ask you about what you're selling, even if they don't purchase your book, okay? Because this is the mistake that a lot of people make. Can we go ahead and talk about this? I want to break this down for you guys. I got a little bit of time. So when you're going to vending events, it's not just about, oh, I'm gonna just throw, this cover over my table and I'm just gonna put my books out. And a lot of you guys just stack your books any kind of way, like no presentation whatsoever. And remember, when you're going to, and I'm going to actually do a video like this because people say, oh my God, Lynette, I love your station. I love your table. So I am actually going to set up my station to where you guys can see how you create a vending booth that people will absolutely love. Now, baby, don't ask me to set up a booth outside because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. That's just me. Okay, because most of the time it's too hot for that, and I don't want to be hot, but I will set up a table for you guys inside. Keep in mind that when you're going to these vending booths, until I give you the video of that, I want you guys to understand that people are visual people and they look up. Okay, so you should be trying to get your station upward, right? Not downward, because no one really looks down unless they're at your station. But they're not even going to come to your station unless you are giving them some kind of visual thing. A lot of you go to these vending booths, but you don't want to invest in a banner. You need a banner for a vending booth, okay? We'll talk about that some other time, but making sure that you're going to vending events. If you're spending $300, $400, $500 to be a vendor, make sure it's a vending event that is really going to love on you. They're going to love on your book, okay? It's not a vending event to where people are just saying, oh, girl, yes, you'll be perfect for this event. Because event planners will tell you that. Some event planners will tell you that, knowing that if you're at a fashion show, baby, no one's going to care about your book unless your book is related to something that has to do with fashion. Okay, so just make sure that you're using your strategic cap. Put on your strategic cap in order to decide, okay, is this the event for me? Women's events, women conferences are amazing, right? Women conferences are amazing because, they're there in order to renew something. They like to go to the conferences depending on the type of conference, but just see where your book connects to the event, okay? And I want to share, we'll talk a little bit more about the event in just a second because a lot of you guys have been sleeping on this type of event, but I'll talk about that in just a second. The fourth place that you should be going to is your local library. You should be attempting to put your book in the local library. Now, there's always a caveat when I'm talking about these things. So, a lot of times people don't understand why they can't put their books in the library because they forget this step, okay? Unless you know someone at the library, unless you know someone that can actually just accept your book, because people know that, right? If you know someone that can put your book in the library, good for you. A lot of people don't have that access. If you're one of those people that don't have that access, I'm talking to you, okay? So the first thing that you should do in order to attempt to put your book in the local library is you need to make sure that you have registered your book through the Library of Congress. Can I say that again? the Library of Congress. A lot of people try to skip this step, and you have to register your book through the Library of Congress before it's published. After it's published, it's a little bit harder to do, and it's extra steps, and a lot of times they may not accept it. However, you do need to register your book with the Library of Congress before it's published. Okay, and most of the time that makes the process just a little bit easier when you're attempting to get your book in the library. Now, let's talk about if you can't get your book in the library. Even if you can't get your book in the library, I know in my area, they have like a local authors page that's attached to their website. So see if your library has that, where, hey, I'm a local library, I'm a local author. How can I get my information in your library, or how can I put that? And I do want to let you guys know that the library absolutely loves hardback books. So if you haven't considered putting your book in a hardback format, you may want to do that, only because the hardback books tend to last longer than the paperback books. Okay. These are things that people won't tell you. They just have you running around in circles and running around in circles. But I'm going to tell you because I want you to win. Okay. The other thing is, this is number 5, and this is the final thing. Okay. Um, for that website, I meant to tell you this. For the website of the Library of Congress, just Google the Library of Congress. Make sure that you see the Library of Congress. I think it's the libraryofcongress.gov, but make sure that you're on the right website, because websites are getting duplicated right now. Let me just go and put that out there. Oh my God, the scammers. So, number 5, this is a place that you guys should be, that I know your guys are just overlooking. Remember, guys, you are an absolute expert. Okay. You guys are forgetting that. You are the expert. So it's no reason that you guys shouldn't be checking out these places. So, number 5, I will tell you to check into your local Chamber of Commerce. Most of you are already members anyway. Okay. If you are members of your local Chamber of Commerce, what they normally do, they have this probably like on a monthly basis, they have this on maybe a quarter basis. Make sure they always are looking for public speakers, right? So they're looking for public speakers most of the time, okay, to be a part of these luncheons that they're having, events that they're having. If you're already a member, obviously that puts your foot a little bit in the door. Am I telling you to join if you're not a member already? Absolutely not. Here's what I'm saying to you. Start reaching out to your local Chamber of Commerce, because they always have events all the time. And if you are a public speaker and you're selected to be a public speaker, then voila, magic. Then that means that your book is already involved. I will tell you that 2 events that I've gone to for my local Chamber of Commerce, I end up walking out with 2 amazing blazing books from the speakers, right? So don't despise small beginnings, and don't just be in this little box. You're like, oh, I'm a self-published author and I got to stick in this little box. Baby, your book is the key to the next door of opportunity. I say that all the time. Your book is the key to the next door of opportunity. So don't stop looking for those opportunities. They are out there. The one thing that I would share with you, which is a lot of things that people are not going to tell you, okay, we want to be traditional published authors. And I have put in my previous video the difference between traditional vanity and self-publishing, right? But we want to be on that level, but we don't want to grow our audience. We're just like, I'm just going to put this information out there and that's it. I'm just going to put this information out there and that's it. You guys, while you are in the process of publishing your book, or doing whatever you're doing to get to the next level of your book, make sure that you're also attempting to grow your audience, because that is what people look for when they say, you're an expert, right? Right. Because you wrote a book. You're an expert. So as an expert, they're expecting you to already have an audience. Otherwise, what would be the reason that they need you at their event? What is the reason? Now, schools don't care. They just want you there. They just need a warm body. But when it comes to different types of events, it is weighed and measured on because they want to know if you're going to bring your own crowd to their event. Okay. So a lot of times they are looking at, does she have an audience already? Does he have an audience already? If so, are they engaging? Because they want to know when you say or you make the announcement that, hey, I'm going to be at blah, blah, blah Chamber of Commerce. They want to see and make sure that people are going to respond to that. In addition to that, you guys, one mistake that I see all the time when you guys are going to vendor events, regardless of the vendor event, you guys are not, and this is so irritating, but you guys are not having like some kind of sign-in sheet. Okay. You just let people walk by your station all day. They're walking back and forth from your station, and you're not getting their name, you're not getting their email address, you're not getting a business card from them. Keep in mind that those people come to events for a reason. Okay. It may not be your business as to why they're there. However, okay, they are there for a reason. And a lot of the people that's there at events are the decision makers for their actual office or their business. Okay. So, this is the reason why presentation matters. If you are the type to have business cards available, have your business cards available. If you're the one that's using electronic business cards, make that available and easily accessible to where people can scan it and go on about their day. But in order for you to take control over who you meet at these vending shows, then make sure that you have some sort of sign-in sheet or something like that. And I know that sounds old-fashioned, but oh my God, you guys pay so much for vending events and you walk out empty-handed. At least let's just say if you walk out, if you pay, let's say I'm going to go on the low scale, you pay $150 and you pay this $150 and you don't make any sales, because obviously you go to the vending event hoping to at least make back the money that you spent in it. You want to be able to break even, right? Well, what happens when you don't? So you have no contacts. You didn't earn your vending feedback. Oh my God. So one of the things that I always used to do when I was doing vending shows is I would make sure that one, I had some sort of sign-in sheet, I had business cards available. If I would also keep a bowl there as well. People like the little fishbowl looking thing for business cards where they can just throw their business cards in that particular bowl. Okay. Guys, get creative. If you decide that you're going to be a vendor somewhere, get creative. Get creative on where you can take your book. I had a client recently that actually took his book and had a book signing at his church. Guys, if you're going to church anyway, like, you should link up with your pastor and say, hey, can I have a book signing here after service one Sunday or one Wednesday? Like, get creative on where you're taking your book. All right. Keep in mind that you don't have to wait until the book is actually published before you start marketing the book, before you start attempting to find out where you're going to go. All right. So thank you guys so much for listening. Those were the 5 places that you should actually be taking your book. Like, don't sleep on these places. Okay. If you want more detailed information about this, make sure that you are following me on my website at writingcoachlk.com, writingcoachlk.com. You're able to sign up for my newsletter there. I send out a newsletter every single week. You're also able to follow me on on LinkedIn, which is like my new place. I love it. So you can also follow me there. You can follow me on Twitter and Writing Coach LK, Writing Coach LK. But guys, thank you so much for listening to this. And remember to get out the box when it comes to your book. Like, you don't have to be stuck just because you have a self-published book. There, more people are walking away from the traditional way of publishing in order to have more control over how their book cover is going to look, how their book is going to look, everything. They're walking away from self-publishing, traditional publishing, because they have more freedom with self-publishing. So don't think small just because your book is self-published. Okay, self-published is a big deal right now. Let me just go and put that part out there. Again, I am Lynette Kincaid, the author and also writing coach. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.